everybody, welcome back to the Ranger. This is how we're going to start working on getting the turbo and everything off of this thing today. So if you're not familiar, we're going to do a rear mount triple turbo setup on this. So basically what I want to do is kind of make it look NA in the front and party in the back kind of thing. And we're going to start by taking all this crap off. And I was just looking at this line and I forgot that I had this nice long line. I actually have enough line to get halfway to the back, but I bought all new stuff, so it'll be going with just like a regular AN line because it's going to be going back. So I might be able to repurpose some of that, but that's kind of where we're going. This side isn't really going to change all that much. I might try to clean up some of this stuff though. I do have one of the harness fuse boxes from BP Automotive that I still have to install, so I might actually do that on here and kind of clean up some of this relay stuff. And I do have a nice little sneaky hidden fuse box under there, which I kind of like that because it ties it into the factory stuff. But one of these is a fan relay, one of them is the methanol injection kit. I am going to be taking the methanol off because this pump failed when I was at the track one day, so I'm going to take the meth kit off of there. And look at the snow tears. Maybe we'll get to use one of these pretty soon. So let's get up here, get started, pull the manifolds off, and get rid of all this intercooler piping, intercooler, everything. So the plan is what I want to do is get rid of the intercooler, and I want to get one of the TrueCool 40,000 gross vehicle weight transmission coolers, and then get rid of this transmission cooler down here. That one's kind of a small one. I want to use one of the big ones because I'm going to be putting a different transmission in it because this one is kind of burnt up and slipped at the track. Long story short, let's get to work. So let's start with getting the O2 sensors out. This is one of the narrow bands. I tried to do the single narrow band to the dual plugged thing. I didn't really mess with it that long, but I tried it for like an hour one day and I couldn't really get it to work to run it in closed loop. It was trimming like 25% in opposite directions on either bank, so it just wasn't really working right. Like air fuel ratio looked okay, but it was trimming one bank super lean and then dumping fuel in the other one. So I didn't really futz with it for that long, but I think that's going to be one of the things I'm going to try to do when I go back to this. Because I'm going to have two banks again, I'm just going to do like narrow bands. I thought about even trying to add a MAF sensor back on, and just because I haven't done it yet with the turbo setup, and just see how it does and tune that and just try to get it to run like as stock-ish as possible with the turbo on it. That might be kind of fun, but that'll probably be one of those things that I just talk about and never actually try. But if you guys are really interested in that, let me know. Start getting these oil lines off. And then I gotta get the downpipe off. The downpipe that I just put back on, we're taking it off now. So that's fun. This stuff's all crusty. That's probably gonna be a 7/16. This one down here's a 14, I know that. For the crossover pipe. So what do you guys think I should do with this turbo setup? I have the whole setup with the crossover and manifold, and I thought about running it like on a test engine, or because I'd like to build an engine stand, like a running stand, and do some stuff with engines on a stand, but I don't know, maybe I'll keep the kit and put it on something different someday. I wonder if it would fit on the Silverado that I got, the auction truck, but I don't really want to mess with the auction truck. It's always in the back of my mind though, that it's just sitting in there. My thoughts on the auction truck is I think I might keep it now. I was gonna flip it, but I've just been daily driving it for like a month now, and it's kind of growing on me a little bit. My main concerns that I had with the truck was it's two-wheel drive, and we're in Wisconsin in the winter, but I drove a Chrysler Sebring for like 5 years in the same winter, so I think if that'll make it, I'll be fine with a truck that has traction control. And the traction control actually works pretty good. So I'm probably going to go underneath, get the other crossover off, get some aliens, and I think that one's probably going to be a 10 mil or 7/16 maybe. $10 mil, look at that, found it right away. I don't really have many issues with my 10 mils. It's more like my 15. I have issues with my 15 once in a while, and sometimes 8 mil, but I have a lot of 10 mils, so I don't really have problems with them. This wastegate used to be black. It's a nice orange color now. Pretty cool. This is just one of the cheap eBay, like Speed Daddy or DNA Motoring, I think it was. I haven't really had any issues with these. This one works pretty good. So I'm just gonna reuse it. Probably. I might add a second one though. Just because I feel like I might want to do that on the rear mount setup. Amazing how you kind of let stuff sit and just leave it sit in there for a while and it just grows dirt and shit on itself and it just makes it look like it's supposed to be there after a while. This one's got salt and all kinds of stuff all over it. Snow, because I drive it in winter a lot. That's what my downpipe looked like, guys. So you guys have seen this because you watched me build it and watched me reinstall it. This is what I was using. It's just two 36-inch glass packs down to a Y splitter down there. It's like a 2.5 to, it was like a 3-inch to, I don't know, it was a 2.5 to dual 2.5. And then I chopped it right here to kind of open up the hole. And yeah, I've just been running it like that. I do a little recap on some of this stuff for a lot of the newer guys because I haven't really worked on this truck for a long time on the channel and there's a lot of new people around. So right now it just has a set of decapped injectors in it and it's just a stock harness that I reworked, stock computer, P59. Just have like a manual boost controller on it, PKY or PQY regulator. I'm using AEM fuel pressure sender there, and I just have it plugged into the oil pressure sensor plug, and that's how I log it on HP tuners. It does have heat, made the little heater box, and I thought about reviewing some of this stuff when I was going to take the spark plug wires off. So this is how I'm doing the spark plug wires, are up and over the manifold. I just basically didn't bolt down the bottom of the coil pack bracket and bent it up and then loop them around there. So, and this is just a stock truck manifold. Chopped the top of it off, welded a pipe in, and then welded a crossover. So yeah, 7875 VS Racing turbo. It's just a cheap eBay 3-inch intercooler. And yeah, everything was done pretty cheap, but it works. So now we're gonna take it apart and do something else. What should I do with this turbo, guys? What do you think? Keep it on the shelf? All right, should we take this thing off? We gotta take it off. Okay, that one's good. Take this one off. Take that one off. Other way, other way.
That way?
Other way, other way. Yeah, turn it this way. Yep, keep going. Turn it, turn it, turn it. Turn it, turn it, turn it. Turn it, turn it, turn it. All right. All right. You got it?
Got everything.
Yep, you can take it off? All right. Thank you. Yeah. What do we do next?
I don't know.
Should we take this out next? So
Yeah.
take this out. Let's do that next. Let's do that.
Can we take that off?
No.
We take that off.
We're gonna keep this on and then we're gonna take this one off. So we gotta take this part out first, and we're gonna pull that out, and then we can slide this whole thing out. But we gotta take some couplers off first. You wanna do that?
That's a mint.
That's a wrench. Why don't you put some garage clothes on? Maybe some pants. And a shoe? And some shoes? Or should Dad just wear a diaper?
That's a real diaper.
Dad wear a diaper? Alright, let's do it. Alright, let's get this thing out of here. I have one bolt left. This is always a tricky part. This is a pretty heavy piece with the turbo and the manifold together. I guess heavy is I don't know, a point of perspective. Little guy, leave me alone. Alright, here we go, here we go. Long bolt. Now it's out. So I'm going to take the whole turbo setup and manifold and everything off. It's still connected on the V-band though down there, I think. That's probably why it's being a little stubborn. Yeah, that's definitely why. So it's still connected to the V-band. Let's see if we can doink it a little bit. And it's probably kind of stuck there in place, but I know I got the, yeah, the V-band is like stuck. Stuck to the, there you go. See, fall down, the clamp was stuck to the V-band. There we go. Now we can pull it out. Alright guys, so since this is coming out, I want to talk about it. This is the crossover pipe. This is the front drive shaft for the four-wheel drive. I don't even know how to show this. That is the crossover clearance to the flywheel. Flex plate, whatever you want to call it. I mean, jeepus, that's pretty tight. I've been running this for about a year. So, this has been on the truck for a year. Four-wheel drive. I drag raced this in four-wheel drive multiple times. I did 11.0 at 124 in four-wheel drive using this shaft with the filter. But this is what I'm pulling out, so I wanted to show it just kind of one last time. Let's get rid of it. The crossover out now. Interestingly enough, I had to cut the thing in half to get it out. I could not remember how I put it in there before. I haven't taken it out for over like about a year. So it goes in a very specific way. I could not figure out how to get it out. And I've had it in and out of there probably 4 times. But I'm going to cut it up anyway, so I just decided I'm going to cut it in half to get it out of there. So the driver's side, I'm going to reuse this side here that comes down, and then I'm going to merge them to go back single pipe back. So original plan was to do with the triple turbo rear mount stuff. I was going to go exhaust back on this side, exhaust back on that side, merge them in the rear. But what I'm going to do now is reuse the driver's side, and I'm going to merge them into one pipe on the back side. So kind of sucks because I bought a bunch of 2.5-inch pipe, but I'm going to get some 3-inch pipes. I'll go 2.5 into 3-inch and then run it to the rear. But that'll be kind of nice having it'll be just like factory on on these GMs. Like it merges from driver's side to passenger side and then goes one pipe back on the passenger side. So that'll be cool. Okay, so we got the intercooler out now. And that was actually kind of a struggle. It was interesting to get it out. The bottom ended up being stuck on this little lip down here, and I couldn't figure it out. So I had to use a pry bar, pried it up, and then it popped out. But it was one of those things like, just like the downpipe. I'm like thinking, well, how the hell do I get this out? And I put it in there once, a bunch of times, and no, I can't figure out how to get it out, but it turned out it was just stuck. So the plan is to use, like I said, this whole open area for transmission cooler. And I was brainstorming, and I might even be able to repurpose the transmission cooler down there that I was using for an oil cooler. I've never really had an oil cooler on this vehicle before, or really ever used one. So it might be cool to kind of see the differences between oil cooler and non-oil cooler, and add one just because it's already mounted and it's there already. So I have a big open space now, and my, I guess, idea in my head is I want to put like some kind of intercooler right in this open space. Maybe like an air to water, just because I feel like putting an air to water in. I know there's better options, and yeah, so it kind of goes against my thought process of keep it looking stock up front, but it's a Ford Ranger with a GM engine in it, so it's not really stock anyways. So it might do air to water here or something, and it really does open a lot of space for a better heater setup. So if you guys are following, you know that I put a bilge blower in there. It's like a $25 eBay special 4-inch bilge blower. It's like for boats, like for evacuating gas fumes out of a boat. And that's what I put inside here, and I made that little box. So I might modify that, put a bigger like fan in it, and a little more powerful one, but that thing works pretty good. It just takes a while. So just kind of spitballing here and talking through my thoughts, but everything is out pretty much. So I'm going to keep that manifold in with the V-band. It's got 2.5-inch V-band on it, and I think I might do a different fan once I get this intercooler pipe off.
Well, there's a couple. Sorry.
Once I get this pipe off, I still got to figure out which way I want to route it. But, you know, this thing has always been kind of close and difficult to deal with. I put this blow-off valve on before I had the TIG welder and before I could weld aluminum. So that one is one of the, like, it's just its own section of pipe, and you use 2 clamps and put it in the middle, so you clamp it on, you don't have to weld it. But now I can weld aluminum and do whatever the hell I want. So I might just swing it right this way and go back and under. That's pretty much it. I think that's all we're gonna do for the teardown. It's not really that exciting stuff, you know, teardown. We talk about the new projects. Hopefully you guys like my rambling garbage. And look at those engine mounts right there. They're sweet, man. Look at those. Those are just sweet. GM to Ford with a little plate on there with boogers. I always laugh about that because that's just what it looks like, and they're perfectly fine. And they've been like there for 2 years-ish now on the truck, and everybody's like, oh, they're gonna fall apart, but they just don't. That's about it for this one, guys. I'm gonna go to another Christmas party at my dad's house today, so I'll come back and we'll actually start the building process of this. So I did realize while I was looking through parts, I bought a bunch of 2.5-inch 90-degree stainless bends. I bought like 10 of them. And I didn't buy any 3-inch, and I want to do 3-inch downpipe. So I had to buy some more of those. So we're going to wait on those. But I have 10 2.5-inch stainless 90s coming that I'm probably not going to use now, because while I was building this, I changed my plan in my head. So sometimes that happens. I usually like to buy stuff before I start to work on a project. I usually like to have a lot of the stuff here so I can just work on it. But sometimes you can get bit because you change your plan as you go, and then what you wanted to do originally doesn't work. If that makes sense. So let's end the video here. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.